History remembers armies for their victories or defeats, but there are some units whose names are remembered for both military genius and unspeakable brutality. They left a footprint far deeper and far darker than any who followed them. Military history has never seen another force where discipline and monstrous cruelty coexisted so perfectly under the same uniform. The 3rd SS Panzer Division, Totenkopf, meaning the Death's Head. They were the most controversial military formation of Nazi Germany. While other divisions were born on the front lines, Totenkopf was founded in the shadow of concentration camps under the harsh doctrine of National Socialism. This is not just the story of a military unit. It is a dark chronicle of fanaticism forged in steel. The architect of the division was Theodor Eicke, a man who blended discipline with brutality. Established in 1939 from the guards of the Dachau concentration camp, this unit was not loyal to traditional military ethics, but directly to the Führer and his ideology. Eicke taught his soldiers one single thing: mercy toward the enemy is treason to the fatherland. This philosophy bore bloody fruit during the division's first major test, the 1940 campaign of France. In the village of Paradis, the machine gunning of 97 surrendered British soldiers was how the world first met Totenkopf. The summer of 1941. When Operation Barbarossa began, Totenkopf was driven into the endless steppes of Russia. Miles ahead of the rumbling tanks, the vanguard motorized units, the eyes and ears of the division, were advancing. Open-top Kubelwagen all-terrain vehicles, infantry on motorcycles with sidecars, and amphibious Schwimmwagens crossing rivers by swimming carried the deadly speed of the Death's Head into the Russian steppes. As part of Army Group North, they advanced toward Leningrad, leaving burned villages in their wake. But the winter of 1942 turned the hunter into the prey. The Demyansk Pocket. 100,000 German soldiers were encircled by the Soviet army. At the very heart of the circle stood Totenkopf. In temperatures dropping to -40 degrees, battling hunger and disease, Eicke's men repelled waves of the Red Army for months. When the siege was finally broken, the division had lost 80% of its men. But this catastrophic destruction was not the end of Totenkopf. Instead, it became the milestone of its transformation into an elite force. Hitler rewarded the division for this fanatical resistance. The few remaining veterans withdrew to France in the autumn of 1942. There, despite all objections from Wehrmacht generals, the newest armored vehicles, heavy artillery, and the legendary Tiger tanks in the Army inventory were given directly to this division. Totenkopf had been transformed from a frontline infantry unit of camp guards into the deadliest armored fist of the Third Reich. By 1943, Totenkopf returned to the front lines as a full Panzer Division, taking on the role of the German General Staff's Fire Brigade. But what did this Fire Brigade role mean? The Eastern Front was now a blazing fire, thousands of kilometers wide. Whenever the Soviets broke through the lines at any point, Totenkopf would immediately be dispatched to that fire zone with its motorized forces and deadly Tiger tanks. They did not wait in trenches like standard units. They attacked to stop the fire like a physical wall. In the Third Battle of Kharkov, they drove into the Soviet lines like a wedge of steel and recaptured the city. But victory came at a price. The father of the division, Theodor Eicke, was killed when his plane was shot down. His soldiers launched a suicidal counterattack behind Soviet lines just to recover his lifeless body. Eicke was dead, but the monster he created lived on. At Kursk, the largest tank battle in history, Totenkopf was again at the absolute forefront. In the steel storm of Prokhorovka, they melted Soviet tanks one by one. But against the numerical superiority of the Red Army, the long retreat was beginning. As Totenkopf retreated, it combined its military success with a dark strategy of destruction. While falling back relentlessly toward the west, they executed a total scorched earth policy in the territories they passed through to cut off the Red Army's logistical lines. To delay the Soviet advance even by seconds, they destroyed everything of vital importance. They blew up railways rail by rail, systematically demolished train stations, bridges, water networks, and all infrastructure. As they retreated, they left nothing behind but ruins and ashes. Yet even this destruction could not hide the dark legacy of the division. They massacred thousands of civilians in every village they passed under the guise of anti-partisan clearance. They viewed the enemy not just as an opponent, but as subhumans to be annihilated. In the spring of 1945, they fought with desperate final effort in the streets of Vienna and Budapest. The goal was no longer victory, but survival. They knew very well what falling into Soviet hands meant. The remnants of the division fled west to surrender to the Americans, but history played one final trick on them. Due to their record of war crimes and extreme fanaticism, the Americans rejected them and handed them over to the Soviet Union. The Soviet labor camps turned into an absolute hell for Totenkopf. Most of them, including their final commander Helmuth Becker, were either executed or perished in the frozen soils of Siberia. Today, the 3rd SS Panzer Division remains a paradox for military historians. On one side, an incredible military discipline and resilience displayed in the toughest fire brigade missions. On the other, massacres that trampled human dignity. Totenkopf, just like the skull symbol it carried, was a machine that sanctified both death and the act of killing. Their story is a bitter warning, showing how an ideology can turn an army into monsters.